19th of June to reports of a vehicle in a collision with pedestrians. Officers are on the scene with other emergency services. There are a number of casualties being worked on at the scene. One person has been arrested. Inquiries continue. In terms of that one person being arrested, let me give you a little bit more detail, because earlier on we spoke to one witness who said that she had heard that whoever it was among the crowd after this incident, and that the crowd pushed this person towards the police and said that he should be arrested. So that was the Metropolitan Police. Let's also hear from the London Ambulance Service. They issued a statement saying, "We have sent a number of ambulance crews, advanced paramedics and specialist response teams to the scene. An advanced trauma team from London's Air Ambulance has also been dispatched by car." This incident happened between 3 and 4 hours ago. It was around midnight midnight London time. But as you can see from the live pictures, it is very much ongoing. The junction there blocked off by the police and a large crowd gathered. Our reporter, Jane Frances Kelly, is at the scene.
Well, behind the police cordon and all these police vehicles is the white van. Eyewitnesses say that about 12:10, the driver of the van went down Seven Sisters Road, and that he deliberately, or they say that he deliberately mounted the pavement and went into a group of people who were attending a man who had collapsed to the floor. They were in identifiably Muslim clothing. Many eyewitnesses around here believe that it was a deliberate attack. There are two mosques in the vicinity. There's the Finsbury Park Mosque and the Abu Hamza Mosque. Had the driver managed to go any further, they say that, a large number of people could have been injured, because there would have been a huge number attending both those mosques because of last prayers, because it is actually Ramadan.
The BBC's Jane Frances Kelly there referring to the huge numbers, and you can get a sense of that from the live pictures that we're bringing you now from North London. Despite it being 4 o'clock in the morning now, a large crowd there out on the street, the road blocked off by the police. We've been getting lots of eyewitness accounts through the night. Let's bring you one more. This is Cynthia Van Zeller. She lives in the Finsbury Park area. She told me earlier what she saw.
When I went to the window from my bedroom, it had already happened. I was in bed and I started hearing a lot of shouting outside. Seven Sisters Road is incredibly noisy, so that's not news. But when I realized it just didn't stop shouting and was getting louder and louder, I ran to the window to see what was going on. And I saw in this little access road across my block of flat, many people gathered. I don't have a really good idea of numbers, maybe 200 people around there. I'm not quite sure, but many people, enough to block at least half of Seven Sisters Road and that little access road as well. They were very nervous, shouting very loud. There was no fight at all. I didn't see any fight, at least. But they were very nervous, shouting, and I could see that they were waving to what later on I found out was a police car that was stuck in traffic further down, and the police car just very quickly, in a matter of seconds, just came here, stopped by them, and then they just kind of like dragged someone. They pushed someone towards the police, very nervously, like take him, and then the police put this man inside the car.
So, Cynthia, let me just be clear on this. The crowd, in essence, offered up this person to the police. Is that right?
Yes, they are very nervously pushing him towards the police, like telling the police officers, which was confusing because obviously they had just arrived at the scene. They didn't even know what was going on. Neither did I, really. So they're telling the police officers to take him. So I understood that he was involved, but I just found out later on that it was about a car running people over. I didn't see when that actually happened.
Cynthia, when you say the crowd, am I right in thinking this is people who would have been attending Finsbury Park Mosque?
I think so, because the mosque is just in the next corner, and they usually gather in this corner where this happened. They usually gather there after the prayers, just to talk for a bit, I guess, especially now it's summer, it's so hot, and it's Ramadan as well, so they tend to stay awake until later, I guess. So maybe because of that, there are more people gathered in a corner, but definitely not as many. It was definitely the incident that made so many of them run there, I guess. So
Cynthia,
yeah, they were the ones handing him over to the police.
Cynthia, in terms of casualties, could you see how many people had been hurt and injured?
I saw at least like 3 or 4 injured people on the pavement being treated by police and being helped by police. But I saw on the floor, from my point of view, there is a police van blocking part of my view in here. But from what I could see before, I saw at least 2 people on the floor. And it didn't look good because I saw police officers doing a cardiac massage in one of them until the ambulance arrived and the paramedics arrived. So it looked really bad, but I hope they're fine.
Yeah, it must have been incredibly distressing to witness, Cynthia. Can you tell me what you can see now in terms of the police operation and that crowd you were talking about?
The situation is pretty calm now. There's many police cars here still. I can't see if there's any ambulances left, not from the point of view I am. But there's still many police cars. The area is isolated and the road is completely closed, so there's no traffic since the beginning, really. There are, at least from what I can see, 15 police cars, maybe more. And I can see the police is like walking around, talking to people, probably trying to get witnesses, I guess. But there is no, the people dispersed. So there is anyone shouting outside anymore. The helicopter is still flying above.
And Cynthia, what happened to the man who was, as you say, offered up by the crowd to the police, and as you say, they asked the police to arrest him? What happened to that man?
I think he was taken by the police. I didn't really see. Well, basically, there were so many people, and because I'm in a window. In a flat on the other side of the road, I could just see many heads together and very nervously, and I could see them pushing someone. And then someone entered the police car, but I couldn't really see their faces or anything. And then a few minutes later, I think someone posted on Twitter a video, because I saw there were many people with their phones filming near there. I did went downstairs, to be fair, because I was a bit scared. So I was just watching from a window, but I could see many people with their phones, their mobile phones. And I think one of them was filming, and he posted on Twitter, and then you can see the man's face pretty clear. And he said that man had run over people with his car. And that's all I know, actually, for what happened.
So you heard that from someone down on the street, Cynthia?
No, I heard that from someone who posted that video on the internet. So I saw the scene, but I saw from far away. And this man had exactly the same scene, but closer, because he was downstairs in the middle of the crowd.
That was Cynthia Vanzella speaking to me a short time ago. You're looking at live pictures from North London, near to where this incident happened. The Metropolitan Police describe it as a vehicle colliding with pedestrians, but eyewitnesses, the people down there, speaking of this being a deliberate attack on those leaving a mosque after evening prayers. And to add a bit more detail to that, the Guardian newspaper is reporting that British counter-terrorism officers have joined regular police to help investigate the North London mosque incident. Counter-terrorism officers have joined in, an indication of where this investigation is going now. And that will certainly chime with the sentiment and the mood of the crowd down there that you can see in those live pictures, because lots of people speaking about this being a terror attack, that being their opinion. Let me just bring you this line from my colleague Nick Robinson, who spoke to someone down there who told him it's terrorism, just like the attack on Westminster Bridge. So that is clearly the feeling down there. Now the Guardian newspaper reporting that counter-terrorism officers are involved. A sense that this is a major incident is clear now. We're getting reaction from the Prime Minister, Theresa May, from Downing Street. She has released this statement saying, "This is a terrible incident. I'm totally I'm sorry, all my thoughts are with those who have been injured, their loved ones and the emergency services on the scene. Theresa May, the British Prime Minister. Also reaction from the opposition leader, Jeremy Corbyn. He's also a local MP. He tweeted a short time ago saying, "I'm totally shocked at the incident in Finsbury Park tonight. I've been in touch with the mosques, police and the Islington Council regarding the incident. My thoughts are with those and the community affected by this terrible incident." You can see there live pictures of the police cordon at a junction near the Seven Sisters Road. Let's hear from Fabian and Mohammed, who were nearby when the incident happened.
Suddenly heard a loud bang, come outside, literally saw two guys in the front. One guy looked, he was cracked off his face, but he really looked white. After that, I just saw people on the floor, people running left, people running left, right, it was chaos.
As he hit the people, one of them ran out, and then the police came quick. And thank God for the police, they came quick and then they handed two of them. I think the other one's on the run, or maybe they caught him, but a lot of people got hurt.
It looked straight like it was towards Muslims. It was basically the target, they knew people were going to walk up.
He basically drove on the pavement, coming straight towards all the Muslims, and as he's coming to them, he hit all of them, and I think one of them died.
One of them died straight away.
One of them died, and then the rest are in a bad condition.
Now looking at earlier pictures of the police response that Fabian and Mohammed, the two gentlemen that we were just talking to there, were referring to, this big police response. Interestingly, they say that they thought there might have been two men in that van. And again, that line that we're getting from so many people down there, this sense that this was a deliberate, targeted attack against Muslims in the Finsbury Park area, targeting worshippers as they came out of evening prayers. The two eyewitnesses there saying that they believe one person died and many more injured. Let's hear from a man who arrived at the scene shortly after the incident happened.
It was about 1:10 this morning. I was coming from the shops and I saw a large crowd of people on the pavement. I learned after that a van that was standing out by the traffic lights was the van that mowed the people down. A lot of people believe that. The driver who was driving the van may have thought that could have been the entrance of the mosque. But as you can see, the mosque is further up. You know, it's a family who've been living there, and the people who have been living there, I believe there's a fatality with them, whereas to say some of the children or whoever is there, you know, got hurt also.
And just to give you a sense of the geography as you look at live pictures coming from North London, this is a densely, sort of tightly packed part of the capital city. The sidewalks, the pavements, they're not particularly wide, crowded at the best of times, but they would have been really rather busy as worshippers came out of evening prayers at the time that witnesses say that van was driven towards people. You can see now dawn is breaking there. It's around 4:15 local time. A police cordon near the Seven Sisters Road blocking off where that incident happened. A vehicle colliding with people. We know that the Guardian newspaper reporting that counter-terrorism officers are now investigating this. We're going to look at some earlier pictures. You can see it's a bit darker, and you can see some men praying there in the area. Earlier we spoke to someone from the Ramadan Foundation saying there was a lot of shock, a lot of upset in the community, and also appealing for calm, that this was not a time for division, that so many communities in so many parts of the UK have been affected by attacks like this one appears to be in London, in Westminster Bridge, in Borough Market, in Manchester, and now it seems near Finsbury Park Mosque, what looks like an attack targeting the Muslim community in that part of North London. Pictures recorded earlier of people praying and also pictures there of the police response. Earlier I spoke to Jermaine Jackman, who was at the scene of the incident, and I asked him what he saw.
So I was on my way home from a show, and I just saw a number of police officers running in one direction. I ignored it. I went home, started to warm my dinner, and then I went on Twitter and saw that there was an attack. So I ran back out my house to see what was going on, and that's the moment where they started to cordon off, and I started to speak to a couple of people around here. The atmosphere is still a bit hostile. I think a lot of the anger is coming from a lot of the Muslim men and women saying that the news are not reporting it as a terrorist attack. They want it to be reported as a terrorist attack. I've seen ambulances, a number of ambulances, about 5-7 ambulance vans drive past, a trauma unit, men in suits and walk in. I've spoken with one of my local councillors who was on the phone to Jeremy Corbyn, leader of the Labour Party, who's now been informed of it because he lives in the local area as well. I'm a local resident to here, and it's just crazy. It really brings to home how close these things can happen to you. And I'm here to say, let's call a spade a spade. I believe this is a terrorist attack. It was a white male who mounted the pavement, ran over people. I've also heard from eyewitnesses that he jumped out of the car, tried to stab people. I've also heard that there was 3 people, not just one. So as the time goes on, I think information will become much clearer on what's happened here.
Yeah, Jermaine, I guess, you have your opinion. I guess what we have to be careful of is it is only between 2 and 3 hours since this happened, and we're still trying to work out the facts of exactly what happened. Did you see the casualties, the people that had been injured among the crowd?
I've seen some of the videos online, which I think they should be removed anyway, and it's just disgusting. There's definitely severe casualties, some dangerous injuries. I don't want to say if there's any deaths, or I don't know if that's been confirmed yet, but I wouldn't be surprised because it was a van. It was a van that mounted the pavement as men and women were leaving the mosque to go home to their families and friends and their loved ones, and they were mowed down by a van. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were some fatalities. But I'm just speaking to many eyewitnesses, and I spoke to a young man who said that he was trying to get through to his niece and he can't get through to her. Since the attack, can't get through to her.
Jermaine, I suppose for our viewers around the world, the time here is, just gone 3 o'clock in the morning. This happened at some point after midnight. But as you say, it was very, very busy there, wasn't it? Because worshippers were leaving evening prayers. Can you just give us a sense of how many people were out there? And as you say, the types of people in terms of, families, young, old?
Absolutely. Well, there's 2 mosques in the space of 50 meters with each other. So you can imagine, and I can imagine the congregations are into the hundreds. So there's loads of people out at this time, walking home with their young ones, with their brothers and their siblings and their parents, walking home. I saw a video earlier of an elderly man who was knocked down. And these are the horrific scenes that we're seeing. So you can imagine, the streets were packed, pavements were packed with people walking home from mosque. So this was well thought through.